Morning watchers, Scott at SE Landscaping, mid-October, and I'm just in one of our cemeteries. If I spin you around, this probably had its last cut yesterday, maybe one more, but the way it is today, it is absolutely teeming down. What plan of action is this privet hedge to cut today. Now, if you just come through here, it is to be cut pretty much in half. Now, usually this is a twice a year cut. The issue this year has been our little bird friends, and when we came earlier in the year, it was absolutely full of nests. So we spoke to the council and we said, look, we'll have to leave it, there's nothing we can do. Checked a few weeks ago and it is clear, so I'm going to give it another check this morning just to make sure, but it's a matter of getting it into shape. Like I say, ideally it's an easy job for twice a year, but it is what it is. The challenge is there today, and it is a wet day, so tools. We've got our Ford Transit, which we're going to put the rubbish on because it's going straight to the tip, not through the chip. Henchman barrow to track it up and tip it on the back. And we've got, with our battery backpack, which is in the van, the HSA 94. Yes, I've got the new 100, but we'll be using the 130 is it? But we'll be using this on this job today, and some leaf grabbers and a rake. But mid-October, most councils in the area have pulled the plants out, and then they'll leave the beds empty for 3 weeks. I won't be pulling these out. Why would you? And the reason being, I'd prefer the beds to be taken out the week before and planted up the week after, and you can leave them as long as possible because they're looking lovely at the moment. So let's get cracking. So just a tip on once a year hedges are things like privet, not so much things like conifer, but with privet and stuff, just go into it lightly first, because if you try and put a finish on it with your first cut, if you dig in places, you're going to leave the hedge with gaps and holes in, whereas if you just do sort of like a 80-90% and take 80-90% off, once you've done the top you can go at it again. So see there where it's a bit in and out. If I tried to get a finish with the first pass and you dig in places, it's going to look horrible, and then you've got to try and get everything else dug into that level, and before you know it, you're taking too much off the hedge and you're leaving it brown. So that is the reason behind it. So that's the top there, that's the sides first done. I'm going to get cracking with the top next. Well, the rain isn't getting any lighter, but the good news is making swift progress. A little bit there, just a little bit high, so I'm going to have to come back there. But apart from that, we are over halfway on the top. So it's just a matter of standing back, and like I say, that little lip that was there now, I've just took it off. But it's just a matter of standing back every so often as you go down a hedge, because the eyesight of the customer will be just as good as yours. So it's no good saying, well, we'll just leave it, nobody will notice. So, like I said, the sides are still to go over again after I do a bit of tidying up, but overall she's done, and we are soaking wet, not internally but externally with the waterproofs. And let's go and see what we're doing for time. We are at 9:15, so not bad going. An hour and a quarter to take the top off and do the sides. Clean up obviously always takes longer, and then like I say, I've got to go down the sides again, and I can see from the distance there's just two little bits there that are sticking up a little bit higher than everywhere else. So, but happy with that for the time. So a 90% clean up. That's like I said, I'm going to go down. You always get the odd bit that needs trimming off, and then like I say, I want to correct the sides so that it comes back perfect. So we'll go down again and then clean up properly. But Henchman Barra, really good investment. Yes, it's a lot of money. Was it £500 or something? But on a job like this, rather than dragging dumpy bags, I prefer just to use this. So blood's pumping now. So let's get cracking. So half a load there, but that is not the full story. I shall talk about that in a minute. So let's have a look at this battery. You can see did about 2.5 hours hedge cutting, and it's still on 6 bar. That is the finished job, all tidied up. Now I just need to trim under there next week where there's a little bit of grass that's been grown under the hedge. But apart from that, that's the side done. And we come through this little gap, and this is the tricky bit, because if you imagine trying to clean up in the back of these headstones, it's not easy. So that's used a bit of time. That's why most of the prunes from the top are chucked that way rather than this way, because it's difficult to get in amongst this and clean out. A really tight, it's a really tight working area. So, but job done, job tidy, all finished. Now we shall go and see how long it's took. And it is
video for every you. Download it now.
Turning brighter. 12 o'clock. So half a day's work there, but to be fair, I've gone at it this morning. I've never stopped really, but well, apart from when I got the tip, which I'll talk about in a minute. So yeah, it's been a non-stop morning. So what happened was I got a first load on off the backside. The van was sort of chock-a-block with stuff. I actually originally thought I'd get it all on one load, but I already had grass on this morning, so hence the reason why I had to nip off. So I went to my usual tip guy, and basically for a transit tipper it doesn't matter how much you have on. It works out at £25 a load. However, on arrival today, I was met by 2 guys in a van who told me that my tip man is no longer at the yard and I can't tip it in no uncertain terms. I won't go into exactly what he said, but he wasn't happy. So my tip man's gone. What it means is I had to go to the proper tip, the expensive tip. The tip that cost me for 1.2 tonnes today, which was grass and prune, and £62. Now it's quite funny because I think Greg cursed me yesterday, Greg Francis, because I was going to buy a Foxwood chipper last year at Soltex, well, like the shredder type, just for stuff like privets and things to get rid of it and leave the waste on site. But because my tip man has been that cheap, I have a budget of £4,000 a year for tipping costs, grass and everything else. But because my man was so cheap, I think this year my tipping costs have come in at something like £600. So I've got £3,000 odd outstanding. That's still to go in April though, because I've still got 5 months of sort of 5-6 months of pruning season. So I'm gonna start using some of that money tipping off now that it's getting a bit more expensive. But what it means is I am going to look at again at a chipper shredder, because I could have shredded all that stuff today. And you may be saying put it through your Timberwolf. Timberwolves don't like thin stuff like that. They just block up and you're forever blocking it up. It's not so bad if you've got hedge, tree, and you can keep putting a bit of thick stuff through, it'll keep running. But anybody who's used chippers knows that if you're putting fine stuff through constant, it just gets blocked up. So that is the reason why I will look again at Soltex next month for whether we go down the Foxwood route or whether we go down another route. We'll see what's kicking about, because like I say, it's going to be back up to where I'm spending a lot of money on the tip, which, like I say, I've set it aside in the business. It's there, but it's nice if it's not there and you can spend it on other things. So, but them other things are going to be cheaper. So that's where we were. £62 at the tip for 1.2 tonne, works out at £50 a tonne, which I know some people around the country are paying more a tonne and some people might be paying a bit less, but I've probably had it too good for too long at this my old yard, where I was just tipping by the load, because I was absolutely this tipper. Some days I was putting the boards, the 8x4 plywood sheets on the side, and I was absolutely evening it up. So we were getting lots and lots of stuff on. Coming back to waste though, anybody who is paying by the tonne, grass. I can load this up with grass on a Friday night, and if it rains and if it's sunny, you might have half a tonne of grass on. But by the time you come in on the Monday morning, that could be 3/4 of a tonne, because it sweats, it gets wet and everything else, and it adds to the weight of the product. So, like I say, if you're trying to cut down on costs, just try and get rid of that waste as much as you can. If you're paying by the tonne, that's a bit of a tip. Yes, you might have to go the tip more often, but if you're passing, the grass soon becomes wet and sticky and horrible and weighs a lot. Anybody who knows dragging dumpy bags out the van the next morning, they can, in the summer when it's 20 odd degrees, they can go from being very light when you put them in to being very heavy and wet and sticky and smelly. So there's a bit of a tip. But like I say, 4 hours on the hedge there, quite happy with the job in the end. It's just a bit difficult, like I say, with the birds. When we came at the start of the season, we've got to abide by this. I know a lot of guys on the sites are money cash hungry, and they're quite happy to do jobs like this. And I've checked for birds, but in reality they cut down large conifer hedges, and you can't tell me there's not a bird's nest in 20-30 metres of conifer hedges, because it's just not possible at peak season. But obviously money's more important at times, and money's important to us all, but you've got to stick to the rules and regulations, unfortunately. So that's where we are with stuff. It's pruning season's kicking off now, as well as bedding season. We've got a lot of bedding plants to start going in the next week. Like I say, this rain today, although it's been a nice dry week as such, this rain's probably put paid to any grass cutting over the next few days and probably into next week, because it hasn't half come down. And with the temperatures not improving, then it means that the grass isn't going to dry up. So if we get more rain next week, that could be the end of the season. Although I'm predicting at the moment that next week will be my last grass cutting week, unless things pick up. It could be this week. So that's where we are. That's the fun and games of the trade we're in. There's always a challenge. There's always something happening. A bit like this road I'm on at the moment, which is getting resurfaced, and there's potholes everywhere. So good news is I am off to the dealers, and there's a few things that I'm going to, if they've got stock in, that's the question, pick up, which is a couple of hedge cutters. So if you stay tuned, we shall get a bit of footage of the products. But dark nights are here, and what I've noticed is dark nights you have a lot more time on your hands, and unfortunately it's not good for the bank balance. Hence the other night I was on the Nawaki site, and I'll do a video of a couple of items I bought the other night on the Nawaki site when I get a chance to use them. Quite a couple of interesting products that's going to help me business. Nice to have in the bag, in the van. So, but like I say, I shall get to the dealers now, and stay tuned to see what we're going to invest in. So, cheeky little trip to the dealers, and we invested in this. So that's the new 86, and we've got a 66 on order, which is coming in a couple of days. And as well as that, I've bought his little brother, the 66, I think it is, the small foldy out one. But they haven't got it in. That's coming in on Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So A couple of long reach hedge cutters, a couple of long reach new hedge cutters for stock. So a couple of new hedge cutters and a couple of other things. I think I talked about a new zero turn. Looked at the first 400S in there. Good price of roughly just short of £7,000. So I'm going to mull that over on a week over the weekend. And also I've just arranged a demo on a track chipper that TH Whites have just imported into the country. That my local branch has just got in stock. Handy little machine, chips up to 6 inches, goes through a gate and everything. So price wise on that was good as well. So we've arranged a demonstration, not for the one in the showroom, but the one TH White's. TH White will bring out to me hopefully next week if the guy's in the area. We can have a look at that. But what it is with these small track chippers is chances are if TH Whites have one, there'll be a few more no doubt at Saltex, because what you find is once one company gets something, 2 or 3 other manufacturers, a bit like the weed brushes started to come out, and then a couple of weeks you went to Saltex and then there was 5 or 6 companies doing the weed brushes. So it's a bit like that. So we shall see about that, but it'd be nice to get a demonstration and see what these tracked machines are like for the price. So you're in the sort of £12,000 price bracket, but for a small compact machine, it's a decent investment. So that is it for today. Bit of pruning done. Been to the dealers. It is starting to dry up, so the plan is I am going to go back now, and I've got a few small hedges that I'm going to load the other van up with some dumpy bags, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to just do a few small hedges, but I need to go back for my henchman ladders. So that will be the plan of action for today. If the weather keeps up, it should be a nice end of the afternoon and the week, although I am working Saturday. Tomorrow will probably be my last one, because like I said, the grass will be done next week. So thanks for watching, and we're interested to know what people are paying around the country as well for waste, what you're paying to get rid of waste. So just drop it in the comments. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.